this is Ice Cream Gecko, and in today's video we're going to take a look at the Ben & Jerry's ice cream cookie dough pieces. Nice play on words right there. I bought these for €4.29, and today we're going to take a very close look at them. Mini pieces of vanilla ice cream with soft cookie dough center and a chocolatey coating with chocolatey crumbs, not chunks, crumbs. Lovely. So fairly simple setup we've got right here. Vanilla ice cream around a cookie dough core with chocolatey coating with chocolatey crumbs. Okay, let's take a quick look at the back. That's the names of the things, and that's the mass of the things. Pause if you want to read it like that. That's the last column right there. Pause if you want to read the ingredients list right here. I don't think you can read it all too well. I do find it sometimes a bit difficult, especially on these bulged packagings, to take a close look, take a proper look at these ingredients lists, but they're probably better off just taking a peek at the Ben & Jerry's website, depending on where you live, in your preferred language that you like to read Ben & Jerry's ingredients lists in. If you want to scan that, you can do that right here. So, until January of 2024 is the best consumed by, it seems. We're going to take a quick look at the bottom, to share or not to share. Alright, let's open up this thing at the predetermined opening thingy right there. Is it? Yeah, it works alright. Works alright. So resealable. Look decent. They don't look too squished. I thought they would be bigger. Size-wise, they come very close to that Langnese ice confect. They're about, I would say, about 50% larger than those. Not quite sure about that though. Let's take one or two out of here, and yeah, looks alright. So those crumbs, they talk about crumbs, right? The chocolatey crumbs on the outside. We can see some sort of, extrusion of the cookie dough piece. We don't really have that here. This very much looks like, when it comes to the surface texture of the cookie dough piece, it looks very much like those Oreo style ice creams. Not perfectly smooth, but certainly not that, what's it called? The chocolatey crumbs style of texture? No, not at all. Something we also see is that the inside of it looks a lot more perfect than I thought it would. You can see here some sort of evenness, right, with the cookie dough piece. Right here, it almost looks like a, well, not necessarily perfect, like elliptic ball, something like that, a squished ball, but something very close to that. Scent-wise, I do smell that cookie dough. Vanilla ice cream, not so much. Just to say, not at all. And chocolate-wise, yeah, I do smell a bit of chocolate. That's for sure. So chocolatey crumbs on the outside. They seem to be there, but they don't look or feel like those crumbs look like they feel on the packaging. Let's see what this tastes like now. Surprisingly, flavor-wise, this is actually quite pleasant. Texture-wise, very interesting when you eat half of this. You do feel a bit of that crumminess on the outside. You have that nice inner texture of the cookie dough. I expected the cookie dough core to be a bit more resistive to the bite. It really isn't. It doesn't really feel like a mass on the outside than a more chewy thing on the inside, or a more resistive thing on the inside. It very much feels like a very homogeneous ice cream type of thing. Very interesting indeed. Something that's actually quite nice is the ice cream on the outside. That sort of melts away under your teeth, and then you've got that inside cookie dough piece. And I do not know where the salt is, if it is on the outside, if it is in the ice cream itself, or if it is in the cookie dough chunk, but there is a certain saltiness to it that makes this a lot more interesting than I thought it would be. So, texture-wise, very pleasant, very interesting. Well, let's say not very interesting, but more interesting than I thought it would be. Yes, that salty flavor is certainly something that I didn't really expect at all. Let's take another one out of here. Is this any different? Looks wise, this is very similar. Okay, here we do have some of these cookie, no, not cookie, chocolatey crumbs. Chocolatey crumbs is what they were, right? So I thought that these small granules that we've got on the surface right here are supposed to be those crumbs. No, these are supposed to be the crumbs. And the first two pieces didn't really have too many of those. Did they have any? I can't remember. Now I'm actually pleasantly surprised when it comes to this stuff. I thought this would be some sort of novelty product that doesn't really taste all too well. At least not as good as you would expect it to taste. This thing looks different than expected. Let's see what the ice cream itself tastes like. So this is supposed to be vanilla ice cream, right? We've got contamination on that already, so yeah, a bit of chocolate contamination. Flavor-wise, it is still not too interesting though, which is something that is very very distinctly vanilla ice cream like. Yeah, it really tastes just like a regular, I don't know, almost neutral base ice cream. I mean, that's what vanilla flavor nowadays is, right? Very, very basic. When you've got actual milk ice cream without any flavor at all, there is some sort of flavor that doesn't really taste neutral at all. That chocolate coating on its own, it's got more of a different flavor to it other than just chocolate. Maybe it's those crumbs. Were there any crumbs in there? Not really sure. There is a certain creamy, full flavor to it that extends to more than just a chocolate-like coating on the outside. Yes, very pleasant indeed, that coating. Let's go for another piece of that. Okay, now let's take a closer look. Maybe just a little bit of a taste of the cookie dough itself. Now, is this the source of the salt? Let's find out. Yes, I think this is the source of the salty flavor. So, I thought it might be on the outside, because that cookie dough stuff from Ben & Jerry's usually isn't all too salty. But yeah, a bit of a salty flavour in that. Very pleasant indeed, yeah. Didn't expect that at all, but I'm quite happy that it's there. Alright, I'm thinking I'm going to finish off a couple more of these and I'll make up my mind when it comes to the rating. I'll be back with you and the review sheet in just a second. The consumption process is complete and we're ready to jump into the rating with the review sheet. First impression wise, the cookie dough pieces have been fine. For the most part they looked evenly sized. None of them looked awful in any way. Some were a bit squished, a bit more squished than others, but part of that is also due to my careless handling, one could say. Color-wise, same story here. The chocolate looked fine, that chocolate glaze. What's it called? The cocoa containing fat glaze, fat icing, something like that. I do not know if this is called like that in English. I don't think it really is. This is a very literal translation of what stands there in German, and usually those things are not the right translation that are appropriate for terms and items like that, or ingredients like that. That's something I've learned over the past couple of years of reviewing food. Mostly food sold in Germany in English, which doesn't make much sense in the first place. Anyway, color-wise, everything has been fine. Cookie dough as well, vanilla ice cream as well. Everything was looking quite well indeed. Consistency and texture-wise, the ice cream was nice and creamy. The outside coating was nice as well. Those cocoa pieces, didn't really supply too much texture. But that's not really a bad thing. They were alright. And the cookie dough chunk, the cookie dough center mass of the cookie dough pieces has been quite well indeed. Yes, 2 out of 2 is therefore the rating for the consistency and texture of these things. Taste-wise, 4.5 out of 5. The individual components have been tasting quite alright. That salty note was something that I did not expect, but it was certainly welcome. Something they could have done maybe a bit better, give a bit of flavor maybe to those cocoa pieces or put more on them, just to make them taste more like something. You know, I really expected a bit more when it comes to those chocolatey crumbs on the outside, rather than just a couple of singled out cocoa pieces on the outside. That was a bit weird, but for the most part everything has been tasting really decent indeed, and like I said, that salty flavor, that salty note has been very surprising, and the individual components themselves tasted very nice indeed. Therefore 4.5 out of 5 available points in the taste department. Thematisation wise, I think they did a pretty decent job. The only real criticism that I do have is that they really should put more of these cocoa pieces on the outside. I don't really want to deduct too many points from that though, because everything else has been much better than I thought it would be. Therefore, 9.5 out of 10 available points is the final rating for the Ben & Jerry's cookie dough pieces. And that's something that I didn't really expect. I thought this would be another novelty product, something that I would never buy again, but now I have found out that I think very differently about them. When you are with another person, maybe want to have some ice cream and not necessarily open up this entire pint and make a mess of yourself trying to divide it evenly. I think these pieces, they account to 10 pieces in total, make a very easy way of deciding who is getting the right amount of ice cream. If we assume that each of these is the same mass of ice cream. I hope they are. They aren't. They probably are close enough though. Still, I think a very decent product indeed, a lot more decent than I thought it would, and maybe I'm even going to buy this again. $4.29 is a price that isn't too bad for this. It's something different from Ben & Jerry's, and I do appreciate decent change from time to time. Anyway, if you've got a question or a video suggestion, leave it in the comment section down below, and if you want to see more videos just like this one, please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I'm going to see you soon. Until then, bye bye.